Hi, I'm Sara, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I'm so excited to share my story with you today. It's an honor to serve the neurodivergent community as an ABA clinician, online content creator, and curriculum author. I love the people I serve, and I'm so passionate about the science of ABA and how it can help not just neurodivergent people, but all people. My path toward my work in this community began when I was a child, when I would see my cousin Danielle. She goes by Danny too. I only saw her about once a year because I lived in South Carolina and she lived in Ohio, but I always really looked forward to seeing her. She's dually diagnosed with autism and Down syndrome, so that affects her functioning in a variety of ways and her ability to communicate, to connect with others, to take care of herself. But she always demonstrated this amazing ability to learn that I think defies a lot of people's expectations of her. So when I was playing with her, whenever I would just be playing with her and having fun, she would imitate me. I would teach her to imitate me. And I realized now, looking back, that I was already kind of doing ABA with her before I even knew what that was. And that was just when we were playing and having fun, not working toward anything at all. And she taught me early on that neurodivergent people are capable of so much if given the opportunity and if embraced for who they are. It just made me so happy to see her because she was always so happy to see me. She always remembered me, even though we wouldn't see each other that much. So she was a big influence in my life and helped me to realize early on that I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to work with kids who have special needs and need extra support in order to thrive. I had a lot of experiences growing up as a child and adolescent that contributed to this idea that I was going to one day work in the neurodivergence community. I always loved working with kids and babysitting and volunteering with kids at church. And this is all kids, neurodivergent and neurotypical alike. They all love being silly. They all love being appreciated for who they are. They all have unique interests and perspectives on things that can be so delightful to the people in their lives. So my goal became to build a career around helping kids who need a little extra support to achieve their goals and find joy in their lives and connect with others. Another big influence for me was that my mom studied psychology at Winthrop University in Rock Hill, which was where I grew up in that general area. She kept all of her old psychology textbooks lying around the house. So when I would get bored, I would pick up an old textbook and flip through it. And I was just amazed at how complex and mysterious and fascinating the human mind is. And it never ceased to amaze me. So that eventually led me to want to study psychology. And it just so happens that I ended up studying psychology at the same university, at Winthrop University, studying under the same professor who taught her, Dr. Press. I just really wanted to learn more about how people work, how I wanted to learn everything I could about the human mind. So I studied at Winthrop. I got to participate in research, incorporating other topics that interest me, like religion and family dynamics. I had the opportunity to study positive psychology, which is the psychology of happiness. Doesn't get any better than that. Also abnormal psychology and statistics, which I was shocked to find that I really, really enjoyed. I loved the mathematics of it. The ultimate goal was to go to grad school at Winthrop to get my master's in school psychology because I hadn't heard of ABA yet, and school psychology seemed like the best fit for me, and that it would give me the opportunity to work with kids who might need a little bit of extra support to thrive in the school setting. I really like the idea of helping them to be successful. But things don't always go the way we expect them to. The chair of our psychology department, again, Dr. Press, who taught my mom, he forwarded a job posting for an ABA company seeking a therapist to work with an autistic child about 20 minutes away from where I was going to school at the time. I had never heard of ABA before, but I looked into it. It was an in-home position, so I'd be working with him in his home and community settings with his family present. And I was thinking this would probably give me a lot of really great relevant experience toward becoming a school psychologist. So I went for it and I got it, which was so exciting. And shortly after starting this work, I realized this is probably what I'm going to want to do long term. So I got to learn so much from this role as an ABA therapist in my first ABA job. I got to learn about the sensory needs of autistic individuals, although that can be highly varied from person to person. I got to learn what stimming was. I watched him run and jump around, and I realized that his neurotype was different from mine and that he needed a lot of input all the time. I learned about how autistic people might communicate differently or have different communication styles. I learned that from him. And I got to see how the techniques of ABA could be utilized to help him succeed and thrive and connect with others in his home, with his family, and in the community as well. Just a quick overview of what ABA in general looks like for those who might not be familiar. It's used to help people learn the skills they need to thrive, so increasing behaviors that we want to see, such as communication, social skills, and daily living skills like toilet training and dressing and sleep. Also used to decrease behaviors that are harmful, such as aggression toward others, self-injurious behavior, and elopement or running away. And that's just an example of, behaviors that we might want to decrease. I have a YouTube channel called Modern Day ABA, where I go into a lot of detail about what ABA is, what it is not, common misconceptions about it, and ethical considerations, and how to utilize these different techniques to help the people that we care about to thrive. It's all about changing the environment around the individual to set them up for success. And I love that. It's a whole applied science. It's amazing. I decided I was going to pursue a career in ABA, and I realized there was this whole new world of behavior science in front of me, and I got to learn. I was inspired by people like Temple Grandin, who is an autistic inventor, university professor, author, and renowned advocate for autistic people in the neurodivergent community. She's one of my favorite people ever. Also, another big influence of mine has been Dr. Greg Hanley. He has contributed procedures and protocols to ABA practitioners that are used to decrease harmful behaviors, improve learner sleep, and teach learners to try new foods, etc., using practical, gentle, and consent-based methods, which I really, really love. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent, but let me get back to my story. I worked with this client and a couple of other clients in the Charlotte area for about 2.5 years, and then I decided I want to build on this. I want this to become my career. So I enrolled in a master's program at the University of West Florida to study ABA. And around that time, I also applied for my first clinic-based position out in Austin, Texas. So I did a remote interview, and then they contacted me for an in-person interview, which I thought was wild. They flew me out to Austin, Texas to show me around and interview me in person, and it went really well, so I got the job. And so I had my first clinic-based position out there. I had the amazing opportunity to study under my mentor and supervisor, Amy Brown. So she taught me everything she knew and helped train me while I studied and got my master's program. I graduated with my master's in December of 2018 from the University of West Florida, and then I sat for my BCBA exam in February, a couple months later in 2019, passed my exam and became a BCBA. And that was just the beginning. Since that time, I've learned so much. I've connected with so many people. And it's an ongoing process of learning that never stops. There's always more research coming out. There's always more people who have their experiences to contribute to the field that I get to learn from. And it's been this amazing opportunity to grow and learn. So since that time, I've worked in 4 different states, or I guess in total throughout my career, I've worked in 4 states, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, and Oklahoma, in a variety of settings: homes, schools, communities, and clinic. So I've gotten to synthesize all of these different experiences, and it's been wonderful. I don't think I could do anything else really for a career. I just love it so much. And I love working with my clients. I learn from them all the time. So as I've grown in my career, my my husband, Isaiah, in addition to serving as CEO of our company, Sisu ABA, he has always built me up and encouraged me to explore the things in my field that I'm passionate about. And he's always encouraged me to lean into my strengths and continually try to identify what it is that I'm best at, what it is that I love the most. And together we identified that that is teaching ABA to others, or teaching others to utilize the techniques of ABA. So I'm only one person, and there are so many people out there who could use ABA. If we're talking specifically about using ABA for autistic people, now the diagnosis rate is 1 in 34. It used to be an estimated 1 in 10,000. That has gone up to 1 in 34. So I'm only one person. And as much as I want to be able to help as many people as I can, it's hard to do that directly one-on-one. So it makes more sense to empower others to utilize ABA to the best of their ability, so that they can then use those techniques and concepts with their learners, their clients, their children, and so on. I really enjoy taking the concepts of ABA, which can sometimes be a little bit difficult to understand, and help people connect with them using relatable and real-life examples. As I mentioned before, I have a YouTube channel called Modern Day ABA. It's educational content about ABA. My most popular videos are my RBT comp videos, which have over 100,000 views combined. I'm so amazed at the impact that it's had. It's helped therapists who want to become registered behavior technicians to prepare for their hands-on competency assessment as part of the process of becoming credentialed. I also, through my YouTube channel, had the opportunity to interview Sam Mitchell, who is autistic, who is an entrepreneur, who is the host of Autism Rocks and Rolls. It's a podcast. It's fantastic. It was amazing to hear his story and everything he has accomplished to remove the stigma around autism and to pursue his dreams. So I not only get to share what I know through my channel, but I get to learn from others too, which is fantastic. Another way in which I have pursued my interests and strengths in ABA is through Sisu Skills, which is an online curriculum, a skill acquisition and caregiver training curriculum. It's designed to help the caregivers of children with autism to feel empowered to use the concepts and principles of ABA themselves in their homes, in their communities, wherever it is that they live their lives. It helps the learners, so the children who are receiving services or who are needing to learn these skills, to apply what they learn outside of the highly controlled setting of the clinic to where they will actually be using those skills. And the caregiver training is baked in. It's a very important part of the curriculum. It helps prepare the caregivers for new and future challenges because they will have that foundational knowledge of how to use ABA from my curriculum in ways that they feel comfortable. So that's Sisu Skills. That's my big favorite project right now. As for the current state of things, I have a baby who's almost a year old. Her name is Lilia. She is my first. And I've had to learn how to balance motherhood with my career, which has been such an exciting journey. My experience in ABA has informed how I raise her through the processes of bonding, pairing myself with positive reinforcement, teaching her language skills. And she has also helped me to connect emotionally to my clients and their families. In that, now that I have my own child, I can better imagine, although certainly not fully, what they might be going through. I'm currently working at an amazing small ABA company, which I'm so grateful for. There's a huge emphasis where I'm working right now on putting families first, which is fantastic. I'm very involved through this company. I'm involved in the community by participating in fundraisers and volunteering for organizations that support the neurodivergent community. I'm also I'm coming to the end of my term as the president of the Oklahoma Association for Behavior Analysis. We just recently put on our very first state conference and we've become involved in public policy, specifically advocating for increased client access to care, and also advocating for a legal ban on the use of corporal punishment on students with special needs or students that are on an IEP in the Oklahoma public school system. I'm also serving on the licensing board for our state, so helping BCBAs get licensed, and just continuing to connect with so many people in my field and learning from them. My current goal moving forward is to continue to provide those training resources to the ABA community. If there are any neurodivergent individuals listening to this, I want you to know that you are so precious and have so much to offer the world. And there are so many other people out there in the world who appreciate you for who you are, for the unique ways you might think, and stay strong through those challenges and know that you will achieve great things.